I'm a huge fan of Dodge because they simply don't compromise. I love the fact that the Challenger has been around in its current form since 2007 and it still outsells the Mustang and the Camaro. So yesterday I made a video about the 2023 Dodge Hornet, talking about how it's a rebranded Alfa Romeo Tonale and that I was a bit disappointed in Dodge's lack of effort in implementing their own design DNA in the new crossover. Now, I want you to forget everything I said in that video, because what we have right here is the brand new 2023 Dodge Charger Daytona SRT concept. Now, there's so much I want to talk about about this design. I don't really know where to start. It has turned my idea of what an EV can be completely upside down. I've often said that if you want to work as a designer these days, you should look at Hyundai or Kia, because they seem to have embraced the true potential of EV design and bring out concepts and production cars that allows designers to go wild and bring back the heritage of a brand in a new, modern, and exciting design. Just take a look at the insane Envision concepts, for example. These are fantastic cars by Hyundai that I'm sure will go into production eventually. Now, with the release of the Charger Daytona SRT concept, I will now officially add the United States to the list, because this car is simply a masterpiece. I'm a huge fan of Dodge because they simply don't compromise. I love the fact that the Challenger has been around in its current form since 2007 and it still outsells the Mustang and the Camaro, both of which have been updated several times since then. The Mustang and Camaro are both, in today's form, they're both sports cars. They are the cars you take to the track in full race gear, while the Challenger is made for burnouts under the night lights on an empty parking lot in your favorite t-shirt and baseball cap. Why is that? It's pretty simple, actually. People want and love muscle cars. We love the simplicity of them. We love the ridiculous power figures that will only result in more frequent tire changes and actual acceleration. But more than anything, we love the design. Can we just take a minute to appreciate these official Dodge design sketches of the new Charger Daytona? Just look at how simple the lines and volumes are. We're going to talk more about these sketches in Photoshop in a minute, and just how true to the original muscle car shape it is. It's boxy, it's sharp, and it's also timeless. This is a design that will stand the test of time. I know that because it's essentially the same shape as the 60s and 70s Charger, but with some fancier lights. Before we go any further, I'd like to introduce you to today's sponsor, Fume. I know how hard it can be to quit nicotine. I've never really been a smoker, but in Sweden we do have these tobacco pouches called snus, and I was seriously hooked on those while in the military. Quitting a habit such as smoking isn't easy, but Fume is on a mission to help do just that. Just have a look at all these 5-star reviews. Fume is the natural inhaler designed for a better, safer, and natural way to quit cigarettes. It's a no smoke, no vape, and no nicotine replacement for the hand-to-mouth habit of smoking. I'm 100% on board getting people healthier in any way I can. And in addition, just look how beautifully packaged this product is. Fume creates handcrafts wooden inhalers and uses cores infused with plant oil studied to curb cravings. You get flavors such as peppermint and conker with minty notes to stimulate menthol cigarettes, and other flavors like cozy chai and lemon berry bliss for a sweeter experience. All flavors are 100% natural with zero harmful chemicals, artificial flavors, or nicotine. Whether you're a smoker or ex-smoker who still struggles with cravings, Fume is the perfect tool for you. So head over to breathefume.com/Bembly and use promo code Bembly for 10% off your entire order. So let's jump into Photoshop here and let's analyze this piece of art. Let's start with the sketches because I think these are so cool, and this, as I said, it just shows that Dodge designers these days, they have a lot of fun designing cars. This is, to me, this would be like a dream project to work on. Reimagine the original Charger in an EV form. We can play around with the proportions because we have a battery pack here, so we can do whatever we want on top of this. It doesn't need to house an engine or a transmission right here, so the proportions can look very cool, and I think they really nailed the design. We have this simple line that I'm going to show you when I compare it to the 70 Charger. These lines are key lines that you need to have in a Charger. Looking at it from a rear view, simple graphics also in the front, and it continues in the rear. And this is what I'm talking about when I talk about Dodge not compromising. They still keep very simplistic designs, and I think that is a winning concept for the brand, because as I said, this will be just as beautiful today as it will be in 50 years. I love this treatment of the C-pillar as well. Very thick, true to the original. It sticks a little bit further back than the original. I'm gonna show you that when we talk about the side view in just a second here. Looking at the front view, we have the new logo for the, I think this is a new logo for the electric cars of Dodge. I love the fact that we have one single LED stretching all across the front end. We also have these details in the LEDs kind of sticking back into this air vent. This is actually an integrated wing in the front end. And looking at the interior, I think they did nail the interior as well. It's a beautiful, cozy looking interior with a lot of styling going on, but it's still a very simplistic design. So you can't have a very complex interior if you're gonna have an exterior that looks this simplistic and beautiful. These are some detailed sketches of the interior. For example, the gear selector right here looks pretty traditional, and I like that. We also have the Christmas tree design here in the launch button. So you flip this up, then you have a launch button. This is probably the on button as well. It looks like it's just a regular on button, but I love that they try to implement the feeling of an internal combustion engine in their EVs. I really appreciate the effort. Also, with the sound of this thing, it actually is a pretty loud EV, and I think it's cool. It might be a gimmick, but still, I appreciate the effort. Now, they say that this is a concept car, but when I look at this beautiful thing right here, beautiful piece of art, it looks like it's ready for production right now. I can promise you that this is almost 95% finished to what the production version will look like. I love this design. It's such a cool design. I almost fell off my chair when I saw this. We have this air duct right here, so you see the air goes in here and then flows in up above the hood like this. Very cool design, something that you could not do if you have a big massive V8 out here. It's going to be very tight to have designs like this in an internal combustion engine, because there's simply no space. These wheels, I want to talk about these wheels as well. I think they look really good. They are still probably very efficient EV wheels, but the thing is, they don't necessarily look like they have this plate design that a lot of EVs have that I don't think look really good. And these look super cool. I hope they keep these type of wheels for the production. It has some reminders of the original 60s and 70s design here in a new modern take. I want to show you the side view here. I'm going to compare it in a minute to the original Charger, but the thing that we have in the greenhouse here that stands out from the original one is how far back the greenhouse goes. So it sticks back a little further here than the 60s, and that obviously allows to have 4 people in here sitting pretty comfortably, and I think that's the reason why the rear end of the greenhouse is sticking back further than we have in the original. If there's one thing that I would love to change and just have fun, play around with, is this portion right here. It looks maybe a little bubbly in the rear end in this portion, but comparing this to, for example, the Mercedes EQS, the EV6, which are typical bubble EV designs, this is what I'm talking about. Again, Dodge doesn't compromise in their design. They kept pretty much an original Charger design, and I'm sure this will still be an effective car when it comes to range, even though it has a boxy design like this. Looking at the interior real quick before we compare the side view to the original, I like this interior. I think it looks really cool, and this is another reason why I think this is actually the production version that they show here. It's going to be similar to like the Nissan Z Proto when they launched that and called that a concept. Then the Nissan Z came out. It was essentially exactly the same as the Z Proto. They just added some indicators and door handles and stuff in the front end. And we have one screen here. We have one bigger screen as the gauge cluster. The simplicity of it and the beauty of the design in here still feels like it has been designed by a human pen. A human designer sketched this out, and that's what I want to see in an interior. It doesn't really matter if you have a lot of screens. I just want to have that human touch to the design. I think we have that in these curvatures that you can see right here. Now let's have a look at the side view here of the 1969 Charger, comparing it to this new Charger Daytona concept. Tell me if this isn't a perfect modernization of this shape. And this is what I love to see companies doing right now. Hyundai is doing it, for sure with the Envision concept, bringing back the 70s design. I want to see Buick do that with the Grand National as well. I want to bring back a Grand National as a modern EV. Hopefully, I don't know yet. We're going to have to wait and see. But here we have the two key lines that I talked about. We have this shoulder line dipping into this piece right here. So we have some graphics here on the 69 Charger. I kind of wish we had some of that in the new design as well. So we can have this line still the exact same line, but maybe have a bit of a graphic right here like we have in the original. So there are two sharp lines and it's being cut in the right position, because what this does now, it creates a forward motion. We have a shorter line combined with this long, beautiful shoulder line, both super sharp, but it creates a nice movement forward looking at it from a side view. Now, talking about the greenhouse, what we could do here, just to have some fun, we could copy this piece and see what happens if we move this piece forward. It's not going to be a very pretty redesign. Then we just slightly move it forward to maybe this point right here. And you can see that it looks really cool like this as well. I think this could be an option to maybe have it something like this. I think that would actually be a really cool design. So here you can see just how moving it a couple of inches back and forth create a totally new perception of this design. So I think it would be cool if Dodge could create a sportier version that's just two-seater, maybe have some luggage space in the rear and have a longer boot like we have in the original 69. I'm really excited about this design. I think Dodge made a fantastic job just bringing back the coolness to Dodge from the launch of the Hornet yesterday. And I believe that this new EV era that's coming, we're gonna have new kings of design will emerge while others will fall. I think a lot of automotive companies have been sort of challenged by the internal combustion packaging and struggled to find new life for the designs, which resulted in overstyling, confusion, and a flood of uninspired car designs. The EV layout and packaging is already changing that, as we see here, and with the Hyundai cars and also Kia as well. We can say what we want about the lack of soul in EVs, and I completely understand where that is coming from. But from a design standpoint, EVs will bring new life to brands that we never thought of as cool before. And as it stands right now, Dodge is showing us how it's done and leading the pack with the Charger Daytona. And I can't wait to one day get my hands on one.